So if you guys aren't comfortable, don't want to be filmed by accident or whatever, we understand, and thank you for coming. but I hope you stay.
So good.
But I hope you stay, and this is so amazing. I see the lights that you guys are in this room, and I know why I do what I do, and I can feel it on the show. But to get to experience it in person and get to touch you guys and just see your expressions, and again, just these luminous beings that you are that I always feel, it's so fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Can we close the door?
Yeah. I think we can. Let's see.
It's a folding, yeah, there you go. Oh, nice. So fancy.
Hi.
Okay, the whole thing moves.
Is that better?
Better? Yeah.
All right, good.
The construction sound.
Right, there we go.
Ah, good point.
Welcome, everybody. You know, I would cry.
She's a crier. And then she makes me cry.
I don't want to cry because then I can't talk.
That might give me a little room to talk.
Okay.
Because Jill gets
that was
going,
fair.
and you don't want her to
stop me.
We don't want you to stop.
Oh, okay,
That's the thing.
We are. I know that my audience is so special, and I feel so blessed.
Yeah.
To be alongside all of you. To see you in person, just.
Oh my God. See, she's making me cry.
I'm gonna read my makeup too. Oh my God. So we have a treasure for you guys. It's really special when we're able to come together. So we don't know what's gonna happen today, and that's the best part. Some of you have asked what we're gonna talk about, what we're gonna do. And to be sincerely honest with you, we don't know either. And the good thing is, I work that way, and so does John.
When you guys listen to the show,
Yeah,
and if you guys feel structure, if you feel structure, I don't know what you're feeling.
It's not from the speaker. We don't plan, and yeah. I know some of the conversations you have are more structured, right? But
very few.
Very few. Okay.
Very few.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we just come on in. We just love to let our light shine to help you guys see your light, because we know that's hard here. So the opportunity for us to literally glow from the inside out is just a divine opportunity. And to me, it's the reason actually why we incarnated, to break the molds of humanity by shining from the inside out. No more of this pulling light in through the top of your head, recognizing the light of God that you are from the inside out. So I feel like that's why we resonate with each other. And I know that's why I noticed John, because he has that same system. So for those of you that don't know me and know John, my guess is you're that way too, or you want to activate that even further. So let's glow.
Yeah. I don't think we have to even try.
I know. We're already.
Yeah. I don't think we have to try.
Yeah.
So the motivation for being in Los Angeles was inspired by a conversation that started with me and Jill a few months ago, where Jill was asking me what was happening with TV and the opportunities that come up.
That's right.
It's like, no, it's about 3 years ago I got the hit that TV is something that's going to be appearing in my life. And how that shows up, I don't know. And if it does, I don't know. But it's still a guiding force that's pulling me towards something maybe even better. But I know that it's based in this foundation of sharing what we share on the show, and augmenting it so that even more people receive it. And not only people waking up from the couch, but that all of us have a platform to speak our truth more freely. And to have that be the cause for ripple effects for other people to go through their transformation, give themselves permission. So we were having this conversation, and Jill asked me about it, and I let it go. Guidance told me to just drop it, to let it come to me. And Jill's comments is like, well, you deserve to have a show. I'm like, I think so too. We'll see what happens.
Who agrees with me on that, by the way?
Thank you. So a couple of weeks later, Jill reaches out I have a friend, it's a production company, they're looking for certain people for certain shows, and one's a show where they're looking for someone to host a transformational TV show. And someone who's familiar with the 2012 Ascension, with, you know, interdimensionality, time travels, timelines, all that. It's like, I think I'm qualified.
Oh, yes.
I think I'm qualified. And so one thing led to another. We had a great discussion with the production team, and we decided to start working together. And so Ashleigh came in miraculously, our cinematographer. She's, yeah, I'm going to well up.
I know she's gonna cry. I see it. Yeah, do it, John. Tell. This is a good story.
Yeah, but I'm so grateful for Ashleigh. Again, you don't even know the angel that you are. Yeah, yeah. Well, you should. But anyway, things just came together for us to create not only what the producers wanted to do so they can start pitching to the TV networks, but that we could do it right. And so things just started falling into place. We started filming for the Sizzle Reel in Kauai. I flew out to New York and did interviews out there. And then Jill gracefully said, I want to go to LA to support you. And to film and to inspire what wants to be created. And again, I don't know what it looks like. I don't know if the network will pick us up or not, but I know something is emanating from it. And it's really interesting. In the past, I would have been tied to an outcome. And now I'm in such flow. It's just so nice, and I feel something happening. I don't know what it is, what it looks like, but like I told Jill, everything is icing on top of the icing of the cake that I get to live. It's so beautiful. I have this. We have this. So again, the inspiration for this trip was that. And then the inspiration to have this gathering was Jill telling me at the last minute, we should host a gathering in LA while we're there. I was like, I don't know if people are going to show up. It's Tuesday, really going to send an email out. And that's what I'm thinking in my head, but what the hell, let's try.
Thanks for showing up, everybody.
Yeah.
So good.
So really thank all of y'all for showing up and for responding and taking time out of your Friday morning, which at an odd time.
No.
To be here with us and for allowing us to film as well. I really appreciate it. And with that story, if you're guided to, if you would love to add intention of transformation and light getting out into the world in a bigger way, if you can say a prayer for that in whichever way that happens to evolve, it'd be a beautiful intention for all of us to augment and provide the opportunity for. Yeah, so again, thank you guys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Should we get started?
Let's get started.
Okay, let's see what we're going to do. I do love to start with a couple nice deep breaths. I feel like it does help remind our brains that we're going into another mode, if anyone needs that. I know sometimes I do. Okay, so if you can close your eyes and just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And while you're taking this next breath, I'll start talking. I can see within us this glow of light, literally within our heart space, and it's this pure white light. It's like the sun is envious of the pure white light within us. It's not fiery or hot, it's loving and cool. It's a calming force that we have within us, and we brought it with us into this reality, knowing that there would be stormy seas when we got here, throughout our lives. We knew we would have this inner balance that we brought with us. And it is Source Creator God within us. We brought it with us. We don't have to earn it back. We don't even have to know how it works. We just have to know it's there. Okay, nice deep inhale again, and let that light just get bigger within you. Okay, we came in pretty turned on, but I'm exceedingly impressed. Nice, okay. Nice job, everybody. You can open your eyes whenever you're ready. Come on in. All right, John, what do you think? What should we do? Have an idea?
Well, it's been amazing hanging out with this one. we sit down and like these conversations just like unfold. And we're like, why don't we have a camera and a recording device here? Because
we've had some pretty fantastic
the places
conversations
that we're going to, and they're all over the place.
I know.
It's been amazing. So yesterday we had lunch with Sarah Landon, which some of you guys may know, and then dinner with Marilyn and Loria. And those are other conversations that just get ignited. But when we have people who show up that are just so open and willing to share their knowing without filters, it's just incredible conversations happen. Yeah. So one of the topics that we were talking about, and actually, why don't you bring it up?
Okay. So one of the conversations that came up was about because I think all of us were maybe secretly or openly hoping that other people also get to feel what we feel in their lives. We'd really like to see our loved ones or even total strangers feel this inner peace and feel this love and this creativity within them. I actually feel like it's necessary in order for humanity to truly move forward and truly an upward spiral of evolution, that we need to be more activated within that heart space, within that God energy that is within all life. So I get motivated in that way too, but it's funny, because of my Christian background, I think I'm more self-aware that I don't want it to feel for me like I'm trying to save anybody. So we had this really interesting, do you guys feel that too sometimes? It's like, but they don't need to be saved. What am I thinking? You know, the car going forward, car going back. So we had this fun conversation with Sarah about, it's for some of us, it's an irrepressible desire that we really are expecting or hoping or love the timelines of all of humanity, or a huge portion of humanity just like suddenly, sort of waking up, right? But I love it. I'm doubtful, because I have such a deep appreciation for unconsciousness and how unconsciousness, how the ability to forget that we're God functions in this world. It's like an intoxicating virus. So there are many people on the planet right now that won't wake up, and nobody's leaving as I say that, so that's a good sign, John.
Yeah, that's good.
Right? So when what I call my team, which is really me in the All That Is, what my team was saying is that it's actually healthier, maybe I know for me and maybe for some of the rest of us here, to not count on the rest of humanity waking up. It's too heartbreaking, really. And I don't like to keep score, and I'm kind of impatient, so I don't want to have to wait for anybody before I can go forward, right? It's like, you know, when you're a kid and your mom and dad said, well, when you all get your rooms clean, then you can go play. I'm like, oh, we're so screwed. What? Yeah. I got mine done.
And the whole concept of other people...
I gotta wait for Kim?
Yeah. And the whole concept of other people awakening also puts us in a spiritual trap that we're not doing enough to awaken as well. So we're never enough. It's like we're always striving towards something that we're not going to reach. And so it's like this never-ending spiral of confusion because we haven't reached the pinnacle. Who knows where that pinnacle is? And who cares, as long as what you're feeling is expansive and you're growing and you're excited and you're in awe and you get to have this human experience. Aware that we get to be unconscious at times also. Yeah. And we get to actually love that part of ourselves as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loving that part of ourselves that's unconscious, that can be a trick for a lot of us because we love our consciousness so much. But unconsciousness is part of what makes this reality so special. If this were a closed container of only goodness, I can guarantee you most of us as souls would not be here right now.
I'd be bored.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, yeah, I'd be bored, right? What's the excitement in that?
Yeah.
Everybody's happy again today. Jeez, Louise, again.
Let's go stir some shit, right?
Oh, God, that's so good. Oh, my gosh. So we were starting to have this conversation at lunch about, because some of us, well, Sarah, I think she was saying, I'm like, is this appropriate to say this? But she's really motivated to help the rest of the world wake up, and her work is so beautiful, and her heart is so pure, so angelic. Her energy is just beautiful.
I love Sarah.
Wow. I mean, she has a new fan in me. She's amazing. So there was this idea about what would take people to wake up, and one of the theories that was presented is that everybody needs to have their basic needs met. You know, my Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and everybody needs food, shelter, clothing before they can awaken. But I challenge that. I don't feel like that's true. So are you guys okay if I kind of go into like my team mode and share from there? Okay. Because I, as human Jill, don't get the words right.
The team's coming in. Before you go into team mode, I also want to invite everybody that came in also. This is such a beautiful space, and I just want to invite you into the vibration of the space, whatever you carried in individually, whatever's going on, and to play with it. And if you came here fully charged, play with that charge and see what else is possible, what else you can expand into. Because we get to bounce off each other in spaces like this when it's so congruent and so aligned.
Nice. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, we got amazing light in here. Okay. It's a funny question about what will make a certain person awaken, because every single one of you has your own unique story. Some of you, not just in this room, but in this reality, do take a really tough situation before you'll break your system and create a new one and let the light of God in from the inside out. Others just are curious. Some, you know, have their basic needs met. Some have their basic needs met and more. Major abundance. And all of these individuals have a choice within them about whether they truly accept the light of God that they are, that no one else can be in this world. So from our perspective, it really is more about the choice and less about the circumstances and less about the conditions. Because there are so many people on the planet that have more than their basic needs met, and they're not awakening to their light of God within. And from our perspective, nothing is stopping them. So we love it when a group like this, these shiny individuals here, begin to appreciate and actually respect that free will component, because it's such a huge fundamental in this reality. So whenever you're really, really wanting and almost wishing someone would be tricked into their own awakening experience, you're forgetting about the gift of unconsciousness. In order for Source Creator God to be infinite, always growing, never done, as compared to finite, it requires circumstances that you can't control and that you don't know what will be chosen. It requires a really crazy experiment in order to keep growing. So this is a crazy experiment. The way that my team showed it to me one time, and I'm back to me again, they showed me like this coffee shop experience, and there were people like souls in this coffee shop, if you could say in proverbial heaven, and they were like, I wonder what it's like to forget that we're God. And at the nearby table, they were like, you should try Earth. You forget everything. And that's my reaction when they said that. I'm like, oh my God, that's so good. It explains everything about this reality, right? And yet we get here, a group like this, and we're just so passionate about like, no, we have to fix it. And meanwhile, our higher selves are like, I knew I would forget. Don't stress about it. I'm good. I'm good. So then this is the most important part. When we can do that, truly appreciating unconsciousness, we allow ourselves to keep growing, no matter what anybody else is or isn't doing. And that deeply satisfies our soulful desire to keep going, even if the sibling hasn't cleaned their room yet, right? Because we want to play. And the unbounded nature of our light in this timeline is so literally miraculous. We went to great lengths to be able to expand our light beyond the profile of Jesus. And Jesus is not offended. He's actually deeply excited about that idea. He's like, they're going to go farther? All these guys? Yes. That's why I set up the template. Go use it and make it your own, right? So our ability to take things to levels that I don't even think our higher selves can truly appreciate, again, because the unpredictable nature of this reality. So there's so many reasons for us to be deeply excited. So when you look out in the world and you're like, damn it, somebody else, oh, geez Louise, just remember that coffee shop experience, that your higher self actually has anything can happen on earth.
I think judgment is one of the biggest causes of suffering.
So good. Yeah, go ahead.
And it absolutely is. We get into judging other people's circumstances or judging that we can help them into being happier or more loving. We judge other people's motivations without knowing their truth. But turn that around on yourself when you judge. How have you been judged and been misunderstood? What has your intentionality been that people didn't understand? And because of that, you were put in a box and a label that wasn't justifiable. And through that judgment, we imprison ourselves in our ability to awaken because we're trying to fit somebody else's mold. And we've learned judgments. It's not innately who we are. It's dogma, it's culture that's created that circumstance because culture thought that it needed itself to survive. And it's turning around. We need our sovereign selves and our truth to truly survive as spiritual beings living on planet Earth. That's when the suffering stops, when we can start living authentically from our truth. And what's beautiful and what I've seen exponentially over the years from doing the show and sharing with so many amazing teachers and people in the audience, and my own personal experiences of my guides, is that there's a shift of a foundation. And the foundation, if you call this the zero line, below it, we were going through judgments, fear, all of those emotions that had us in confusion. And there's been a tipping point where a lot of people are reaching neutral and going above it. And neutral is that place of love. And when you're functioning from your personal awareness that your intention is love, you guys can't screw that up. There's no mistakes that you can make. It's your intentionality that's leading the next event that's going to come up for you. It's what's guiding you into your next opportunity, into your next relationship, into your next expression of knowing yourself more intimately. We look for intimacy all around us and wonder why we don't have community and relationships and the jobs that we love. But we don't give ourselves the intimacy that we deserve. But we expect other people to give it to us, and they don't really know who we are because we have this mask on. But we have the mask on ourselves. So we're flipping it around. You guys show up for these calls, for these talks, because you're becoming more self-aware. There's something pulling you. You don't know what it is, but maybe you do. Maybe you do, right? And only you can answer that for yourself. But explore it, get to know it, and just realize that you can't make any mistakes from that point. You can't. You can't screw it up. If your foundation is love, you're supported in so many different ways, and what seems like a mistake is actually leading you to something else that you can't see. But thank God, because then it'd be freaking boring. The adventure wouldn't be there. And you guys are all here to adventure in one way or another. It's a big exploration, and it's time that we give ourselves permission to break out of the box and do that. Or if you want to stay in the box and that feels good and you want to explore there, do that also. But know that you're not wrong in doing so. And if you feel like you're functioning below the line, awesome. You're going through that experience as well. So I want you guys to become murderers and criminals and all that. Absolutely not. But for some reason that serves a purpose also that I can't explain to you, but I know that it does. Does it make sense to my logical mind? I don't have that answer. I don't. But because I am so committed to my self-awareness, I can separate myself from the judgment of that because I don't carry the fear or the need to perpetuate that. And so whoever needs to play out that storyline is going to play out that storyline, and that's their journey. Do I have to interact with them? Do they have to be part of who I choose to be around? If they come in, it's with purpose. And I have to trust that also. But from my vibration and from my experience, the things that are out of congruence with my platform, with my foundation, aren't resonating there anymore, and new opportunities are showing up. And that's what's happening to you guys also. And if there's any chaos in that shakeup, embrace the chaos. Freaking love the chaos.
So good.
It's a shamanic journey, and you're going to go through it, and you're going to experience it, and you're going to glimpse it, because it's going to be a memory. But you'll be able to teach others from that memory. So have intimacy with that also, and look forward to love and synchronicity and miracles happening in your life. But don't expect them to. Just be open to them. And in that flow, there's going to be grace. There's going to be expression. There's going to be opportunities to know yourself and learn about yourself in a way that you haven't experienced before. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we were at dinner that first night, we were talking about what we felt were misconceptions about the 0-point frequency?
Oh,
and
yeah.
then I remember how for some people, the 0-point frequency means you're open to anything, and that's Source, Creator, God. And I get that, but then there's another way we can do it, where we can know that our neutral is love, and that's what I heard you say.
Right.
That if neutral is anything, then you're really kind of like, oh, I could be a vehicle for destruction and hate, right? So I think it's really helpful for this group. Let's talk about that. That neutral point for us is love. Otherwise,
Right.
We're denying our reason for being here. So yes, this reality was created for us forgetting that we're God, and that allows a lot of open-ended experiences here. But when we recognize and really own the fact, well, we're here for love, then we can distinguish ourselves more clearly, and we can keep that upward spiral going where others are unaware that that's even an opportunity to create here. But yeah,
that's really interesting. And just show of hands, from a super young age, I grew up in a household where my parents fought a lot, and 2.5, 3 years old, I knew that love was the answer. It's like, I can't believe you guys are fighting, just love each other, and it's like, all this will go away. Who knew that at a really young age, right? You're just so aware of it. It's like, we come in with that. You have that awareness. So that 0 point for us, it's natural, and we actually get confused out of it because the rest of the world isn't making sense. It's like, why am I 4 years old seeing this, and the people who are supposed to be teaching me, how are they so blind to it?
it's a great example.
Yeah.
So you knew at a young age that your orientation, if you will, or your purpose was love-based,
100%.
even though others, seemingly the adults that I think we all hope they knew what was going on, weren't displaying that they knew what was going on,
Yeah.
or that they were wired really differently than we were. Yeah. So to understand your natural wiring is, to me, a wonderful baseline for everything that we do. And it's so cool to talk to a group like this, because they know all the foundational stuff, and then
Right.
we just get to kind of zhuzh it up even more. Zhuzh, Ashleigh. I was fixing my hair yesterday, and she said, I just called that zhuzhing it up. I'm like, yeah, I like that word. But that neutral point, and then, gosh, we talked about a lot of things. Mathematics, the language of the cosmos. Oh my God.
Bilocating.
Pythagoras.
Is like, right.
Yeah, the magic of, did you guys know that Pythagoras, like the Pythagorean, I'm going into math geek here, Pythagoras and the Pythagorean theorem with the triangle in the area, he studied at the ancient mystery schools. It was after his mystery school experience that he came up with those theories and concepts.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so that's one of our buddies, right? He was wired like us. He may not have talked about it in a love-based way, but he was orienting and offering something in this reality that is cosmic and
Oh my God. Yeah.
godly in nature. And then in this reality, my lamentation of that whole thing is that we've dumbed down math to be linear. And most of math is nonlinear, right? Even the formulas about the curve of the earth, it has a linear step 1, step 2, then do this. And my team is like, do you remember the formula for the circumference of a circle? And I'm like, don't go there. I probably do.
You know what I love about this conversation is that we're talking about love, but love is expressed in so many different ways.
Yes.
Through mathematics, it's expressed. Through Pythagoras, this guy who didn't talk about love, but his expression, his intention was enlightenment.
Yes. And then we don't get it as our current humans. So we've dumbed down math where it's not even a language anymore. It's like a cookie cutter recipe that has, so most of us, and this is what I was sharing with you, He was like, well, did you say I'm horrible at math or something like that?
Me, I said, oh, I couldn't do algebra for the life of me. It didn't make sense.
And then
I could get to the answer at the end, but I couldn't show you the steps.
Right, show me your work. And he's like, well, it's in here.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you got the right answer.
I got the right answer.
Because he refused to do it in a stupid linear fashion.
Right, it just didn't make sense. Inefficiency is not a strong suit for me. It's a Yogi Berra quote, right?
Is it?
No, it's not.
I was like, you didn't steal it.
Not the John Burgos quote.
John Burgos quote. But this opportunity for us to really celebrate those that are uniquely wired like we are, and they're geniuses, right? So a lot of us have been made to feel like we're outcasts, we're fringe, etc. But we've got some serious genius in this group. So I don't care that the world can't see you. Don't ask this broken world to see you. See yourself. I've had so many experiences.
I see you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got the right eye.
I
right?
see you.
And it feels so good to be seen in this sort of cosmic, unusual, unique way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. So back to that 0 point.
Yeah, go for it.
That 0 point. It's through awareness, through my guides, they showed me this veil, and it's golden veil, and I traveled through. Make a long story short.
No, don't do the long story.
Do the long
story. So good. It's so good.
So I got taken into a regression session with a practitioner out in Kauai. She's amazing. She's been on the show, Daphne Ohana. And we sit down, and she starts processing me going into a deep state of relaxation. And I start going deep, and I go into a lifetime, and I won't explain that lifetime, but she's like, that's not where I was feeling was emanating. She goes, do you feel like you need to go further? It's like, yeah. So she starts facilitating me going into this building, and it felt like this big ancient castle or medieval type of building. And I cross through the threshold, and there's these doors on all these sides, and I walk up to one door. It's big, just humongous door with heavy to push in to get into the room. I go in, and it's this library, and there's all these books, and immediately I have an awareness that I know each and every one of these books. Wow, what is all this information? And I'm just standing there just in awe. I was like, what am I supposed to do with all these books? Why am I here? And so she asked me, she goes, which book's calling out to you? And immediately the spine of one book just lights up. It's like, boom. Oh, wow, that's cool. I pulled it out. In my journey, I open it up, and immediately just tears start pouring out. The benevolence that came from that light, the pure love that was there. I recognized it as home and so much more.
What was the book?
I'll tell you. Good question. I love inefficiency. Just doesn't work, does it?
I want to ask if
point.
they can hear you. Can you guys in the back hear John?
You can.
Okay.
Kind of, sort of. I'll try to speak up.
It's just so good. I want them all to hear it.
Yeah. So I dive into the book, and I'm shown this threshold. I'm shown the threshold. And I glimpse the other side of it, and that's where all this illumination and even a deeper sense of that love was emanating through. And I hear it's like, you don't have to be here all the time. You get to have your human experience. But know that you can reach this point whenever you decide. It's here for your reference. It's here for you. And we want to show you so that you can lead other people to that threshold. And then they can decide whether or not they want to go through. It's not me to lead anybody else through. It's your choice. And what happened in that threshold is like only a certain vibration can go through there. Let me rephrase that. Only if certain vibrations weren't being carried, could someone step through there? Feel into that. So the fear, the judgment, the doubt, the anxiety, those things that we carry that are really illusions of us separating from ourselves, we just keep perpetuating the other space. And it was a choice. It's just as simple as a choice, and there was no judgment into either or, but we were being shown the possibility of that expression if we just make the choice. And it's not a journey. It was a blink of an eye to step through there. It's innocence that penetrates that veil. And I'm not talking about childlike innocence. This is mature innocence and a humility when you're in that presence. But I can tell you the humility is reciprocated because that energy is also in awe of who we are. And feel that for yourselves. Wherever you think that you're not enough, that your doubts and your worries, and we have good days, bad days, whatever is going on in the world, that love is never extinguished. That adoration for who you are is constantly there. We just forget because we choose the other side of the veil. I choose the other side of the veil all the time. I know, but the thing is, I know how to get to that threshold. And it's one thing to be ignorant because we haven't been taught, because we didn't have the awareness. It's another thing to choose to be ignorant because it's not convenient for us because our lives have to change.
Wow. That's good.
Yeah. And it's all your choice, and there's no mistakes. You get to have your expression, and it's beautiful. It's so wonderful for me to witness everything that I see in my life, and I have this amazing community that I'm involved in, and wonderful speakers that show up. And
I'm here too.
And then I get to travel to New York, and I get to come to LA. I get to travel to Bali and go through Europe, and I get to experience all of this different energy. And I'm in amazement at what I see. Sometimes I'm freaking exhausted at what I see. But that's my stuff. That's my judgment. That's me going, shit, I don't want that from A, right? And I realize that.
A little bit about when you do step into that and you make the choice and others who you love don't. And experiencing that pain and that sadness and that releasing that, letting go, because you need to keep flying and they can't come with you because they choose not to. Oh, can you talk about that?
Yeah. So that love, that divinity, that benevolence that I told you loves you for who you are from the other side, that has reverence for your innocence, whether that innocence is shrouded in ignorance or that ignorance is shrouded in enlightenment, has no judgment as to where you are. It loves you. It loves you for who you are. And because you love someone doesn't mean you have to entangle with their stuff. But you can be a beacon for them. Or not. You can be the biggest light in the world and they won't see you. And that's your own suffering for wanting to be acknowledged. So are you really doing it for them or are you doing it for you? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. And so I like to ask myself questions. When I'm going through something or judgment comes up or something doesn't feel good, I'll check in with myself. And sometimes I tell myself I'm full of crap. Sometimes it'll lead into another question. It's like, no. And sometimes, no, you actually nailed that and it's right. But I give myself that leeway. And I trust myself enough to trust the answer. And I also love myself enough, and I talked to Jill about this, to change my mind of what my truth is at any moment. Because the next level of truth can come in. And so we need to give ourselves a break. We don't have to be fixed in the truth. But when you're functioning from that foundation and you're vibrating up, guys, you paint on that canvas. Make mistakes. Love as much as you can. Or don't.
I'm going to add something to
Yeah.
what you add. This is so good. For the people in my life that are not awakening, or you can tell they're just in a downward spiral, I feel like I'm shown, I don't feel like it, I know, that we all have somebody in our life that is painful to watch them live their life. We really wish they had the tools that we had the inner guidance that we had, whatever that looks like for us. It hurts us to watch that. And sometimes I've said to my team, it's easy for you guys to say, well, I love them too. I'm like, you don't have to sit there and watch them kill themselves. It sucks to watch that. It does hurt us. So I've said to them, for selfish reasons, because I don't want to see it, but I can respect free will and the fact that they have their own life, I don't want to have to watch this. So I need skills to be able to be me while they're being that.
Yep.
And one of the things that, and it's kind of a mental shift. What they said is whenever I'm looking at somebody that is in a downward spiral, harming themselves, potentially harming others as well, the first thing I can ask is their higher self, is their team freaked out about what they're doing? See, it's big, right? Because I'm like, well, and then my response is always, well, if their team isn't freaking out about it, then why am I freaking out about it, right? But yeah, it's powerful.
What would you say if someone says that their team isn't of the light, that they're malevolent energy?
That's impossible.
Thank you.
It's impossible. Everybody has a team God that is them. And they're a unique characterization of that reflection of God. So I'm a unique reflection of God. You're a unique animation of God. I will never do it exactly like you, and you will never do it exactly like me. And that's the perfection of the way that Source Creator God is, and one of the mechanisms by which it's infinite versus finite, okay? So that trick, I hope it works for you as much as it did for me. It was game-changing. So now every time I get in, because I have a bit of a control freak type A side, and I want to fix things. I'm a fixer, and my daughters know this about me. Every time I want to fix something, I'm like, okay, but is their higher self freaked out about this? And then I'm like, oh, no. Okay, so I have choices. And then I experiment with another way for me to look at the situation. But if somebody literally is being harmful to themselves or harmful to another person, that's a different conversation, right? Because I certainly can't watch somebody that truly is harming themselves. I would, if I knew somebody that was cutting themselves, young person or older person, I would definitely want to at least do my part to make, I don't know, it just feels like maybe that's a violation of their free will, but I just can't stand by and watch if it's physically harming. And if it's somebody that's energetically destructive and they're not aware of it, because most of them aren't, I want to protect myself. I want to minimize my exposure, like radiation, right? So it's important for this group, I feel, and I know it's been a huge lesson and opportunity for me in my life to recognize who and what I am in this reality and what I'm not. I'm not here to play in those nonsense games, and I'm a total no bullshit zone. So when I see bullshit, even in our community of ideas,
you call me out on mine.
I do.
Yeah. I love it.
But I don't know if it's bullshit though. It's
No,
just
it's
like,
not.
well, wait a minute, what about this? What about that? And can I do it right now?
It's course adjustment, absolutely.
Okay, I'm gonna go after one thing. So I don't judge judgment anymore. And that was liberating because there's, it's really, and I
agree.
Okay,
I agree.
so we're gonna play here.
I agree. Yeah.
So,
But there's layers also.
so I'm judging judgment right now. I'm doing it right here. So this opportunity that we have in this reality to be an example of the light of God, I will not look at murder, suicide, child sex slavery and say, yeah, I'm cool with that. If that's enlightenment, F it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Because it's out of alignment for me and what I feel like I am here. And I'm a strong warrior, kind of light-based energy, but I'm also pretty sweet at the same time. So judging, for me, I've actually decided it's okay to judge because what you're saying is I'm not that. I wouldn't do that. And I kind of wish that maybe they wouldn't do that either because the world may be a better place if they didn't do that. So to be clear about your values and your intentions and what your kind of boundary is about what you will tolerate and what you will support, for me, it helps us be the light of God that we are.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Do you think judgment impinges on free will? Non-judgment impinges on free will?
Let me think about that. It's a fun question. Does judgment impinge free will? No. Because if I say, like with a family member or something that has some self-destructive tendencies, if I'm saying, I wish you wouldn't do that, I don't like it when you do that, they still have the choice to do it. Okay. Just like how you've rebelled against things that were ridiculous.
It's not being apathetic, it's...
Right.
There's a difference.
There is a big difference.
Okay.
So and this is the other kind of game about, with some people in enlightenment, they have this well, some have been experimenting with timelines where to be enlightened meant you were indifferent about everything. And that's why I asked you to go into that neutrality, because for some, neutrality means I'm okay with murder and I'm okay with, you know, beautiful love. And I'm like, I tried that for a while and it kind of worked. And then I was like, no, I'll never be okay with murder.
It worked because it was easy.
But it isn't easy for some people.
No, but at the time where you were, it was easier to like.
It wasn't an effort. Yeah.
It wasn't an effort. It's like,
That's true.
okay, that means I have to deal with other people's stuff, and I can just be in mine.
Yes. Yeah. So in this, at our God level self, I get it, because at the all that isness that truly is omnipresent, beyond the time-space continuum, right? So you don't have a thing, a body, and you're beyond time. You're everywhere where there is no where at the same time, right? Okay, so at that level of you, there is a sort of indifference because you have the protective layer outside of this reality. So you have the ability to say, my me down there just murdered somebody. Yikes, I'm gonna have a talking to at the life review. But not in a shame orientation, just how did that feel to actually take someone's life, right? Did you feel remorse? And learning from that experience, right? There's apologies at that stage. There's definite forgiveness and grace in order for the healing and the restoration. So at the God level, I get it. But here, I'm not going to play that game. It doesn't feel authentic to me. So when I realized that timeline of enlightenment, where the goal was to just be indifferent about good or bad, right and wrong, and some people saying, well, there is no right and wrong. I'm like, good luck with that. I couldn't do it. I can't do that.
For me, it's words. For me, it's words, though, because.
Has it? Okay, good.
For me, it's words because judgment connotates, for me, an energy that we want to participate with or not.
Okay.
And so, in that energy, what are we creating with that intentionality?
So you're literally good with murder.
No, I'm not saying I'm good with. No,
okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
No, not at all.
Tell me more.
But there's a different energy that I judge with murder than the energy that I judge with love. And it's what we're emanating from our frequency that really is the conversation that's happening. That is what's amplifying the field that we're creating.
I don't know if I get that, but I felt it.
You felt it.
My head is trying to catch up.
And see, you're feeling what I'm feeling into the feeling of judgment as opposed to what the words connotate.
Interesting. Well, as long as it works. I mean, you're a lovely being, obviously.
Are you judging it?
Judging judgment?
I'm kidding.
Judging it. So good. Yep, I'm judging it. No, I'm good. It's so funny. This is fun, right? To compare
we
because
go back and forth on this. Yeah.
We do. I mean, this to me is the fun part. I love it when we all agree and we're like, yep, that's what it is. But I actually love it when we kind of disagree, when we see things differently.
And for me also, and to go back a little bit, judgment also is a foundation for suffering as well.
But there's also suffering even if no one's judging it, even that person.
But then it's not directed for me, though. Then people are having an individual experience.
I don't know. I feel like it's semantics.
I think you're right.
Because the pain doesn't have to come with judgment. Pain can just be painful, even though it's not.
But what triggers the pain if it's emotional? It's a judgment of it.
I don't know. I don't feel that way.
You guys have an opinion?
Can I ask you to explore it a different way? So rather than going at it from a place of judgment, and I want to save them, and I want to save the family members, if we can go at it in line what you said, I want everyone to glow, and the container is no good. So if we say instead, I love my family so much, I don't want them to be left behind. I love the bum on the street. I'm sorry for his suffering. I wish I could see him transform. I wish I could see the murderer transform. That we're not going at it from a place of they need to change, we need to fix them, and you just want to love them. But in that, in loving them, we have to love their divine will. We have to love their highest and best good in the perfect amounts needed for their healing and evolution at this time. And we have to allow the universe and the guides to line up so that all the synchronicities can come into place that brought us to this room, that brings that individual to their knowing. So like when I was younger, a girlfriend who was way into fitness told me about smoothies. And one day I said to her, months, years later, I said, oh my gosh, I should teach you how to do smoothies. I learned this and that. She goes, Emily, I told you that so long ago. I watched you do that 8 ways. But I just didn't register it. It wasn't for me then. And I have a son who, as a single mom, is hard. And I learned after a while this teenager was not. If I said blue, he was going to swear it was white. So I learned if I could go to the coach and say, hey, could you suggest this about homework, or to granddad and say this, then all my pushing at him to change and do better, one day he would come home and say, oh yeah, coach said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. And I would just say, oh, that's nice. Like I never put it out there. But I was the one who started the light and the ball rolling, and when it was his timing.
Yeah. Your point actually sparked something, a remembrance within me, so thank you. So when we judge something, you're judging that someone needs to be loved. You're judging that there is not enough love. You're adding energy to that there's not enough. There's a judgment that stems from there that doesn't support what you really want to emanate, which is, I just want to love you. I'm love, and I want to love you, and I want you to feel that love, regardless of the circumstance or the environment. And it's when you're functioning from that purity of love, and you're not matching the vibration of the suffering, that you actually get to amplify the field.
And in the comment of duality, you know, you were saying some people have $1 million and they don't wake up, and some people have $2 and they don't wake up. But I find that it's hardest, like you guys were talking about ourselves and our light, I find it's hardest to, it's easier to do it in Hawaii and in the mountains than it is in LA, because the world is not so kind around us, our jobs are not so easy, traffic is tough. So I think for those people who can't awaken, even when it's right in front of them, and for the confusion that comes into us with all of that too. So I think what I try to do, like with the traffickers and stuff, is just send light to that area, or area.
I love that, and I love where you're going with that. And by the way, I'm not suggesting that I don't judge, because I do, all day long. I do. But I also know that that is the cause of some of the suffering that gets expressed. I also know that I'm meeting that vibration where that vibration is, instead of emanating the light that I know that I am and I'm capable of. It's a tricky conversation, and I don't think there's a right or a wrong. I think there's different ways to approach it.
I just went, not a right or a wrong. It's just being funny. So Emily, before we take other questions, I do want to point out and offer something that my team was like, what was that again? There was a lot of beautiful things that you shared there. It's so, and I work with clients on this all the time, really watch our stories. There was one point, I mean, you live in this area, and you made the comment about LA is not a friendly place, and they're nicer in Kauai, and they're nicer in the mountains. I live in the mountains, and he lives in Kauai.
It's easier to keep our truth in those areas.
I disagree. I'm going to poke a hole right in that, because we're bigger than that, okay? I have seen really friendly people in LA, and I've seen really grumpy people in LA, and I've
A guy tried to start a fight with me in Kauai 2 weeks ago.
What? What was that?
Right.
What did you say?
A guy tried to start a fight with me in Kauai 2 weeks ago. It's crazy.
Tried to start a fight with you?
Yeah,
Oh my God,
it's
I can't
funny.
even.
It's like,
that. I would.
that's
Did you
interesting.
film it? Did you film it? That would have been. I mean, just to see
She was the
John's
cause of
reaction
it.
would have been.
No, I'm kidding.
Funny. So our stories are so powerful, you guys, because they end up serving as a container for your light. So if your stories aren't big enough to hold your light, then please get out that big old eraser or burn the shit out of it and write a new one, okay? Because that's, I mean, if you live in LA, because I have stories that need to be burned all over the place, right? If you live in LA and you're saying, well, it's easier to be my light in Kauai or mountains, you're screwed because you live here, right? And it's just not true.
Will you share your Mozambique story in a little bit?
Yes, I will.
Yes.
I want to share a homeless story too, because
Okay.
she brought up that. Okay, you remember the Mozambique, please, and
Yes,
I'll remember
I
the
got
homeless
it.
one. And then there was one other thing that I wanted to burn. What is it? Can't remember. That's okay. Okay, so you mentioned the homeless person. When I tapped into this energy of at least one homeless person several years ago, right after my activations, it would have been around 10,000. It was 2011. So in 2011, this soul came forward that happens to be homeless in this reality. And I was with a group. It was actually an 11-11-11 event I was hosting, and somebody had asked a very similar question. Well, what about this problem in the world, right? And this guy volunteered to come forward, and he said, I'd like to speak. So it was the soul that came forward through me, And he said, I'm homeless in your reality, and I'd love to share something. And I have the goosebumps again. There's a lot of pity. I'm just going to let him speak. There's a lot of pity oriented towards me in this world, a lot of people that want to fix me and save me. Yes, there are a lot of my kind of comrades that are out here living on the streets that do have mental illness, but not all of us. So we don't fit into society. And then he winked and said, neither do you guys, right? Okay, so let's let him speak again. It's hard for many to understand, but I would rather be here. I never like to be told what to do. The idea when I was in school of a teacher kind of owning me and feeling like I was a piece of their property and that part of their job was for me to behave, I hated that. I just felt like a slave. So when it was time to graduate from high school, I thought, okay, I'm graduating to get a job that I know I'll hate that too, so why even graduate? So I didn't graduate. And everybody around me was terrified that it would be a horrible life. But I don't have anyone telling me what to do. I didn't want to have a desk job would be worse than living on the streets. So I have freedom that most of you can't imagine. So please don't pity me if you don't know me. Don't assume I'd rather have what you have when I actually feel sorry for a lot of you guys. You have to pay a mortgage. I mean, some of you are doing jobs you don't like. I have freedom, and yes, there are significant consequences with that. I don't get to eat what I want to eat. I get to eat what's there and what I can find. But I would rather have that. And now it's become so normal for me, I don't think I want to fit in with mainstream society. So I've got choices too. If I'm living in a cold environment and I'm homeless, I'm not stupid. I know how to get to a warm place. Maybe the cold doesn't bother me like it bothers you guys. So I'm trying to help open your eyes, given that your hearts are already open, to giving me more credit for the life I'm living. There's nothing to save here. Move along.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
The Mozambique story is another one because I think it was actually at that same event, now that I think about it.
Interesting.
It's crazy a lot came through that day. And we were asking about famine, and this very, very dark-skinned woman came through, and then John later pointed out she was from Mozambique because I didn't get that. I just knew she was in somewhere like sub-Sahara Africa. And she came through and very emaciated, and she was nursing a baby who was also really, really tiny. It was like a tent city sort of situation. It was very temporary. And I asked to speak with her. First, it was like she appeared, and then I said, can I speak with you? And she kind of nodded. And she shared that she's experiencing a version of love that she knew she couldn't have if she had all the trappings of like a modern, Western industrialized society like we have. And she also helped me see that to the soul, it actually doesn't take that much energy of our higher self to create a human and to live a human life. From our perspective, that's hard to fathom because it's all we know right now. It's all we can experience is this me, right? And that's the beauty of this reality. So what she was saying is, as my higher self, I was curious about a life where I had almost nothing but love. That's all I've got. I don't have anything to offer this beautiful little baby in my arms. I don't even have the food I will not live long, and she probably won't live long either. But right now, all I feel is love. My mind is not preoccupied with a lot of the things that you lucky people get to think about. So I'm good. So again, the respect that I felt, but in another community of this, they would want me thrown out. You cold-hearted woman, you don't care. It's not that I don't care. I want to fix their situations too, both of them, to be honest with you. I want to take the homeless guy off the street, and I want the woman in Africa to have an amazing, nice, all Maslow's hierarchy needs taken care of. But they taught me to respect their soul's experience in those lifetimes. And that's hard to do a lot of the time because I'm a fixer. But there's this boundary there that's called their life versus my life. And I now can see the homeless person on the street and look them in the eye and at least be looking for some sort of Are you choosing this? Are you good? Are you one of the ones that are wanting to be here, right? So that I can see them beyond the pain, beyond the judgment, as was probably the word that you put there. Yes? Yeah. Just really see them. It's hard to see people in this world when we're really, really worried about their life and about saving them. But being seen, some of us are amazing seers.
You guys can see souls. I mean,
Major.
really, you guys can see souls.
Yeah.
And when you peer into that,
So big.
you know. You just know.
Isn't that why we ask permission? Like I was taught, don't ever do anything that someone doesn't ask you to do.
Oh, I don't feel.
I don't know about that.
I
don't know about that.
I'll just even say I disagree.
Yeah?
You know,
They can take it or not take it. Yeah, you can offer healing and just put it, that's what I do.
But funny story.
Yeah.
I was at an event, a conference, did a keynote speech in Denver last September, and all these amazing people from the audience, and this one woman comes up and talks to me, and I just start talking to her. We're having this great conversation, and her field just pops. I'm like, you mind if I share something? And I shared something about her life. I'm just like, okay, cool, thank you. And then he was right. It was just an awareness. Awesome. The conference ends 2 days later, and she walks up to me, she goes, you know what, you really pissed me off. What are you talking about? Why are you mad at me? Well, I didn't give you permission to see me like that.
Oh.
So it's interesting. You know, if you feel violated in any way by me because I crossed the boundary, that certainly wasn't my intention. The truth is, she opened up her field to allow me to see. And what I saw beyond that is that she had put up such protective walls, and I went through like that because she allowed me and trusted my light enough to say yes. You run across people that they're just shut down. You can't penetrate. There's nothing you can see. I'll have people ask me, read me, and I was like, you're not letting me read. It's like, there's nothing. It's like, yeah. And not that I'm a great reader or anything, but actually I take that back. I am.
He's a great reader.
I am. But it's not something I advertise, and it's not something that I do. But we'll get put in certain situations, and that'll come up. And if someone's shut down and they don't want to be seen, and if their soul expression is so shielded up because of their barriers and what they believe is going to make them feel safe because of whatever happened to them before, then it's free will.
I also want to point out that her system is not going to work.
No, it's not.
That's like, can you imagine the earth
Well, it
saying to
pissed
the
her off.
sun,
Stop looking at me.
Well, that's why I pissed her off so bad, because she's worked so hard to put these barriers and armors and combination locks, and I just like stepped in like it was nothing.
She's in the wrong place if she doesn't want to be seen.
Totally.
Especially around you.
Anybody at that conference, yeah.
Right? Yeah, go ahead.
In terms of it's kind of a paradox being African American.
Yes.
Because you have judgment on all sides. So yes, there's the love, and yes, you can go into that state of love.
You're African American?
Oh, no. Well, I'm universal, but I'm in this line.
Well, I'm just being honest, because that's not part of how I judged you when I first met you and hugged you.
That's interesting. I do get that a lot. Can we pause
Yeah.
on that? And
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, yes, I am African American. The paradox is, the outside judgment is those people, they need blessing. So they should be satisfied with just the crumbs, just a little bit. We've given you these books. There are leftovers, but that's okay. You don't have computers in your schools, but that's all right. Just go into a state of love. You're the most loving people anyway. So just love. Just love. What's wrong with you? You're supposed to be loved. At the same time, on the end, yes, we find the love there, but all of our needs should be met. There should be a choice.
They're not. That's not Earth, though, sister.
What's that?
That's not Earth.
That's what?
That's not Earth.
About having
No,
needs
I'm
next?
saying all of our, listen, I'm saying all of our needs should be met. I know we're not in that experience right now. However, there are those of us who are working for that, and that African Americans or African are have been targeted to decide to accept less and to love anyway, and which is one cosmic principle, is that's fine. Yes, we love. Yes, I don't have to have the next meal, I can still love. At the same time, why shouldn't I have a choice if I want the next one? So the systems that have been put in place, the political systems, which are raising their heads now, even more fancifully, are that you don't deserve what we all, the rest of us, deserve, or we're going to make it look like you're a criminalized race.
That's interesting.
I feel like your judgment putting it on it. Like, I don't think a lot of us, that's maybe.
No, that's right. No, listen carefully. I wasn't saying you. I'm saying,
yeah.
I'm saying an outside judgment on
Yeah.
the situation.
Right. I just,
There's a collective that you're tapping into that's propagating that belief.
Yeah, that's
And-
exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
At the same
I
time,
get
there
that.
are those of us who
Individually,
do.
you're not doing that.
yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And
we
thank
do
God
have
you're
that
not.
love.
Yeah.
We do have that love.
So you're an example of what's possible. I'm
Yes,
Latino. I'm
exactly.
Colombian. I lived in Texas in the 70s. Ton of racism. Not easy.
I've been to Colombia.
Not easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to witness my father being discriminated upon and my mother because they didn't speak well in English.
Yeah.
I understand. That doesn't mean I have to live it.
Right. Exactly.
And I didn't see them carry the resentment, which was a beautiful example for me so that I can break the mold also and not have to perpetuate.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Break the mold.
Exactly. To break the mold. My
Right.
mother was about that big, and she was 3 times darker than me, and she broke the mold.
Yeah.
And she
Nice.
was a little woman, and it's
So
like, you know, we're just like everyone. Of course we want love, let's love, and let's be fair.
And you chose her as a mother. That's so great. Nice choice. You chose her as a mother. Nice choice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nice
And
choice.
it's beautiful, exactly, and that's my point.
Yeah.
Is to make that, to come out of the paradox and into that state of love and
Yeah.
expand it on both ends.
I love that. Thank you for offering. That was good. Robin, you've been so patient back there.
Thank you, Jill. I'm standing, so. I'm gonna share, just go with me, because I've just gathered up all the conversation, and this has been happening for the last 6 months. And I'm so grateful that I get the opportunity to have this conversation with you, because I have no idea where we're going, but this is what's been happening lately.
Okay.
So, I'm an ambassador of light, being a gatekeeper for children, and that's my work, and I love it. And about this past year, I woke up every morning saying, all right, team, show me the blind spots in my consciousness. So I got to take Robin, put her over here, step aside, view the programming, view things like the conversation we're having today, and the opinions, and the mentalization. And then I was taken higher, and I got to look down at Earth. And I was shown, like, my work is with autism. And I was like, you know, everyone wants to know why. I'm like, okay, well, why cancer? Why autism? Why anything? There's a plethora of afflictions we can choose from. And what I was shown is that in this reality, there's the genius of the entertainment that we provide for who is watching. It's like, yeah, we're going to throw in autism. Let's see what they do with that. Well, autism exposed the flaws in our system, exposed the schooling, it exposed parents and parenting and what that paradigm was. So then I took that, put it here, and moved over here. And I felt, and today, like right now, in this room, I'm like an Etch-a-Sketch. So I get everything together, I'm like, okay, valid, important, shake it, clear. Where am I now? I am in just love. So Jill, you know, we've had this conversation. I call this psychic kung fu. I don't even speak anymore. No, I don't even speak anymore. I don't even care anymore. I was so close to just moving to a mountaintop and buying goats and eating cheese. Why not? You know, gloriousness. And just to love and be and enjoy. So my joys are very simplistic, and yet I'm pulled into important work here on the earth, which I'm very grateful for because it keeps me grounded. Because we can check out anytime we want. And I went through a period of time where I wanted to check out. And I thought, oh, I have these children, and one's autistic, and one's a recovering addict. Great education, fascinating, I learned so much. What an adventure we are having even here in this room. What an adventure that we are all get to be here. Like this, there's no other room happening in LA like this right now. And it's like off the charts.
That's for sure.
Still. And I wanted to, and so I did this dance. And every time I do want to check out spirit, and my parents are Holocaust survivors. My mom just died, and
talk about being in that room with all those stories, and I literally had to wrestle with that shadow, and I was like literally inside my like, and just shining and beaming. It took so much energy to acknowledge that and be with that, and try and transmute it. And when I couldn't transmute it, I said, all right, I'm just going to let you be here. So I kind of walk through the world like that right now. All right, you got your story, you be here. I'm going to go over here. Etch a sketch, get shook clean, blank again. And then recently, I took on a very lofty project, and I thought, okay, so what? It's just a thought form. It's just an idea. I think it's possible we can do anything. We're huge. And I thought, oh, I kind of really just want to be at peace. And I'm working out, and I tore a muscle over my heart. And I thought I was having a heart attack. And I thought, oh, boy, well, I'm leaving. We're going dancing. If I'm staying, I better go get checked out because I have children. Okay, the will is done, everything's organized, the liking things, everything's taken care of. It wasn't a heart attack. I tore the muscle right over my heart.
What do you feel like that meant? Or what's your story about that? What do you feel?
I didn't know in the moment. And I'm not, it really was the last hurrah of fear of not being fully loving and embracing that we can be fully loving. Because it's never what comes out of us, it's only what comes from us. And actually called my day. It freaked me out to a level where pain, and I'm standing here today with excruciating pain. I'm just present with it. And it is like a heart broke open, and it will never close again. I'm here with it.
No, Robin. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. So good. It's a powerful room.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time? Oh, it's 11. It's 11:30 already.
Wow, already?
I know. We did start late. Thank you. Good clarification.
Did you have somewhere you want to go? Because I want to actually.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm ready.
So, how many of you guys are familiar with Jill's work? Can you tell me a little bit about what you do and I have a point to this also because I want to expand on it.
Okay.
But yes.
So what I do,
Who are you?
I know, yeah, that's where I was going to go, yeah. So I now know myself as a human embodiment of divine energy that deeply loves humanity. Just loves humanity in a way that's beyond all the constructs that we currently know. I'm a major cheerleader for my clients and for my audience. I want more than anything for them to be able to work past their boundaries that are in their way, help them see themselves more through the eyes of God like I see them. So I'm a major seer, and I see from an angle that most people in this reality don't see. I didn't come into my gifts through this I want to say, the present teachings. I've never read A Course in Miracles. Somebody recommended it to me and I couldn't read it. I think it's a beautiful book, but every time my human brain wanted to try and understand at the age of 39 why I was connecting in the way that I was, I kept being kind of waved off from teaching the way it's currently understood. So that offers me a unique perspective that my clients deeply appreciate. Because when I see a teaching that 99.9% of those in consciousness believe, and I see it that it's a problem in somebody's life, I'll call it, to me, it's not sacred text. If it's not working anymore, it's not sacred for you. Okay, it may have been sacred at one time, right? So who I am, I'm an embodiment of divine energy that is not often in this reality. I'm also a human named Jill that has 2 daughters and a husband. And for some reason, this doesn't freak me out. I was this me for 38 years, and then I started to see myself in all these other ways that I was, and now they start to point back to, you've been giving advice to people your whole life. So anyway, that's, I think, my best current version of what I am.
It's a pretty damn good version.
Thank you. It works.
Good version.
Thank you.
So, and I wanted to ask this because I actually wanted to throw this out to you guys, is how many of you have an awareness of a knowing that you don't know where it comes from, but you absolutely know it? Yeah.
Nice, almost everybody.
That's awesome. Are you guys using that on a daily basis? Are you trusting that information?
Yes and no.
More and more.
And why no? Why no?
Oh.
Well, no, it's mine. Yeah, you, yes. Sorry.
You know what? I think when this whole big, the fifth dimension shift, all this stuff that happened,
Yeah.
before it was like, oh, it was crystal clear. It was, I could see it, I could see. And then when that happened, I recognized the benefits of it, the cleaning up, the clearing out, all that kind of stuff, and those last residual stuff. For me, that is what happened. It was like, it still has a pop filter. And so, and then it's like trying to trust. It's kind of, this is the best analogy I can give.
Wait, can you try to trust? There's you either trust or you don't.
I think
And I don't know, is there a trying to trust?
I think I'm a teeter-totter.
Okay. I think there's trusting or not trusting. I don't think there is a trying to trust.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm probably not trusting.
thank you. Congruency of words energetically are really important to me, and I'll search for words and phrases, and I'll try to explain something like I did earlier, and it doesn't come out right, at least energetically, and so I give myself leeway to find the vibrational feeling of the words, even though the words don't necessarily make sense. Yeah.
Rather than try to trust, I would encourage everyone to practice trusting. That's different.
And be direct of your awareness of where it is, because maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that, doesn't really give you a platform to function from your leadership, sovereign spirituality that's within you. And we're all being called to be leaders of our own energy. We're all being called to be leaders of what it is that we emanate and what our intentions are.
And a leader doesn't mean leading other people. It means you being the human representative, the human leader of your light, because your light is something that no one else can be. So that matters.
And didn't mean to cut you off, so you're trying, or not trying.
No, and that's it. I think that some of the reasons not, what was the original question of seeing that or feeling like you're there, it is that. It's like,
Not knowing how.
this is kind of the analogy, like if this makes any sense, like if I wasn't, I'm not a substance user, but if I was an alcoholic, okay, and I finally came into alignment, new energy of alignment, love, letting go of judgment, all this kind of stuff. The alcoholic that finally gets into alignment, it feels off, right?
Yeah.
Even though you're in alignment.
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So that's almost an alcoholic.
I've experienced what you're saying, by not from the alcoholic standpoint, but from the spiritual, the energetic standpoint.
Yeah, and so in this shift, it's like, I feel like I haven't pulled out of that to be fully functioning in that normality.
Okay.
Do you see the energy? Yeah, I want you to answer this.
Are you okay if I go into that?
Please.
And it
I see you
relates
got
to
the
also
answer.
what
Yeah.
Emily said about not knowing how. That was really important too. Thank you for that. Okay, so you guys, you won't know how until you create a system for how. Okay? So the linear brain is like our biggest obstacle. It really, really is. The left hemisphere, you know this. The left hemisphere of our brain, and I've got a super strong brain. My daughter is actually in Mensa. Now, she must have been switched at the hospital, but, but she's a certified genius. My left hemisphere of my brain is pretty rock star. And I had to learn how to work with that, given this new way that I knew myself, starting at 39 years old. Because my brain was like, whoa, we don't know enough. It was like driving in the car, like in driver's training, and the driver's training instructor keeps slamming on the brakes. And I'm just like, all right, I get that you don't know what we're doing. So watch your questions, because if they're coming from here, it's going to be like that driver instructor slamming on the brakes, and you'll never get where you're going. So the brain asks trick questions. Well, I don't know how. And my response is, as my higher self, I don't know either. Let's try some things, right? So the brain won't know how, Emily. It really, and I see you smile, that's it.
It's not, I know we're supposed to listen to our heart.
It's not aware. It hasn't been created yet. So the brain is tricking us into thinking, I'm going to find an answer. And notice there's a really, really subtle energy pattern under there. The brain is saying there's an answer and it's out there for me, and I need to look for it. Wrong, wrong, wrong.
And just to add something real quick, in that not knowing standpoint from the old energy into the potential of the new, you're actually functioning from mastery.
Yes. And
you're in mastery because you're in inquisition, you're in the not knowing, and you're giving yourself the opportunity to go into new territory.
the brains, well, I don't think this, it's not true for all of us, but for those of us that have a brain that wants to know, that version of our brain, its biggest fear is not knowing. So when you call it out that, I don't know either, then eventually it'll just go, shit, nobody knows. Right? And then you can just give it a big old hug and then let's try this together, right? Because I adjust people's words. I offer and edit to people's words all the time because it's that left hemisphere of the brain that asks trick questions that keep us right where we are. So you have to watch and I love to help people with this. It's so easy, and you can get in a habit of going, okay, does that question anchor me to not knowing? And is that a problem? So rather than find an answer, we create an opportunity. We create answers. We create and we explore and we stay curious. And that is the most in our higher self energy that we are. Because remember, our higher self had no idea a lot of things that were going to happen here. Our higher self is like masterful at not knowing. So I'm so cool about not knowing. About today, I'm like, we don't even ask anyone, like, what are we going to do? We're just like, we just kind of look at each other like, let's go, right?
Yesterday we left lunch and we're going to make it. You have to make your phone call. It's how are we going to make it? We don't know, but we'll make it.
I know, yeah. So, we're driving from Westlake. Is that where we were for lunch? And I had to be here by 6 to teach a class online. And, the ETA and his little GPS was like, okay, looks like 5:15, 5:30. And then it was like 5:50. 5:50. And I'm just like, it's going to be late, but it's going to be okay. Yeah. And I ended up getting there right at 5:50, walked up to my room at 5:52, sent out a quick email with the instructions, and then we got on. So neither one of us was freaking out. And I was mentioning I was so glad to be next to him because it wasn't somebody going, oh my God, your call's in 8 minutes. You know what I mean? So we're just like having a good conversation, knowing we would make it okay.
You know you're going to make it okay. You haven't died yet. You're not going to be burned at the stake. You're not going to die of famine living in this country, more than likely. All those things, it's like, what are our fears? So we're in fear because we don't know something. How freaking amazing is that? But there's suffering that goes on. I went through the same thing you did. I went through this grow, everything's expanding, then void.
And afraid of doing it wrong.
Oh, judging myself for doing it wrong.
And then what John said earlier, which I totally agree with, is we can't get it wrong. So that's another trick question that the brain says. I might get it wrong, and our higher self's like, there is no wrong. I still think there's a wrong. Isn't that cute?
You're divine. You were, and I want you guys to really hear this and take it in. It's for whoever it resonates. You're divinely innocent. And let me rephrase that in a way where other people may accept it. You're guiltless.
Everyone comes out of here washed clean. Everybody. There's pure forgiveness. That's why a lot of us left religion, let's be honest, because that wasn't the version of God that we were told. A lot of us sat in those pews saying, that's not the God I know. Mm-hmm. And when we had permission, we did not go back.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing it. I get where you're at, or have been, or think you are.
I want to give a hug, because your heart is so pure, and you can't get it wrong. Oh, sister, just trust yourself. You are trustworthy.
One thing that I want to share about that also is in that void, instead of suffering, the not knowing, and the confusion,
beauty but you.
Actually see if you can be excited about the possibility.
Let them be right this time.
It's like, really interrupt the brain pattern and go, hold on a second, I'm actually excited about something, because God knows we need something to be excited about, because we don't see it a lot out there unless we're in great relationships, have a great circle of friends and other things. But if we can augment that and find other things that inspire us also, your curiosity and excitement about that will inspire other people into you as well.
That's right. Your life isn't a job. Your you brings delight and pleasure to your higher self. It's me, right? My team loves it's Jill, even when I'm a total jerk to people, even when I'm, right?
Yeah.
I mean, just like
it's like, why the hell did I do that? It's like, okay.
I can't remember what it was. It was somebody at a front desk or something, and I'm like, they got attitude, and I'm about ready to bring my own to kind of match theirs or lay it down. And I was like, I could go there. And when I do, my team is like, oh my God, she's going off on somebody. Everybody come look. Right? They're not like, oh no, Jill's being mean. She's out of her heart space. I think they actually appreciate my wit.
That's awesome. I love it. Was it you that was telling me that that you were having a communication with Jesus, and the misconception that he was always like this beautiful, perfect love and light?
He
talked to you.
He threw up the tables in the temple. He's like, I was such a rebel. He's like, I
was short with people, and I was intolerant of certain views and all these other things. And
he was judgmental, John.
I know.
Yeah.
Only as an example for others.
But yes, the example that we have of Jesus is so skewed. Yeah. And he wants us to know more of his fiery, feisty side. Because a lot of us have suppressed or repressed this fiery, feisty. It's not okay to get angry. I'm like, Jesus thought it was okay. I don't know.
The energy for me the last few months, I'm embracing what would be considered this dark side of myself. The anger, the frustration, but it's flipping around into understanding of intimacy with myself, that it's actually something I've suppressed, that's part of my light. It's igniting my light in a whole different way.
Yes.
But I'm taking away the judgment from it.
That's right.
Right? I'm taking away the interpretation of what it was.
But what are the skills that you utilize in order to lessen the judgment about that?
Great question.
About yourself? Because for me, I've been really practicing this idea of wholeness. And accepting the fact that, you have your light side and you have your dark side. And in the last 7 months, I lost everything. My sister committed suicide, and my best friend didn't go to the funeral. My boyfriend dumped me. He didn't go either. And I had worked my whole life to get to that point. And a month before my sister killed herself. My dad asked me, he said, "How you doing, kid?" And I said, "Dad, this is the happiest I've ever been in my whole life. I have everything. I have a career. I have school. which I worked so hard for. And so I'm really struggling with also the fact that, I know I'm not like my family. I'm a big outcast and all that kind of stuff.
Me too.
But I have this anger and I have this fire and I like that part of
Yes.
myself.
Good for you.
And I really do. It's just, it's not socially acceptable to express it. And also it freaks people out. So it's like,
it is here.
how do you combine forgiveness, non-judgmental, but also know that it's okay to be that way, because that's what makes you a human being.
Right. I love your story. And I love the light that you're carrying with it also. And I'm just telling you, from what I see, what you're illuminating by being you is more than you believe it is. I'm just telling you for what I see, just as a general. To answer your question, and I know you've got responses for this as well.
I'm being patient for once in my life.
She's like chomping at the lights. I just want to share from my experience, because it's not an easy question to answer necessarily, because we all process things differently. My process was to ask myself, why is this happening? And then to ask guides, what are you trying to show me? I was in the question, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to show me? Because and I don't know, I'm wired with this innate trust in the innocence of what's happening. And I'm so fortunate that way. And not everybody's wired that way. So for me, I know there's a silver, I don't even call it a silver lining. I know there's purpose.
You're going to make it
okay. And I'm going through this. And I know I'm going to get to the other side. And there's something beautiful waiting for me there, which is the truth that I believe, that golden light that I saw through that threshold. That was just an expression of what I've always known. It just got illuminated to me in a way that confirmed, so I can ingrain it more, so that perhaps I can share it with more people, but mostly so that I can take more ownership of it and keep illuminating that, and help me to shed my limiting beliefs that fear and judgment and sacrifice and showing up for other people were more important than my own relationship with myself. Whether that was expressed in love or the love of my anger that they misinterpreted as a personal thing against them, and it was just my expression of me trying to feel like I was heard. And I have to love myself for that, because I know what that intentionality is. I know my intention is functioning from love. I just know that. That's my foundation now, 100%. There's no doubt. And I get to be wrong with that, and I get to be misunderstood. And I trust that someone will show up to have a conversation around that misunderstanding. I don't expect them to understand, but just in the intimacy of the wanting to, it fills something within me. And it helps me relax into the innocence of the expression and into the innocence of the circumstances that perhaps take us down these dark corners that we can't completely understand. But that something is guiding us and leading us into intimacy with ourselves. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I get it, but you got it. And I know you've got something awesome to provide.
I wish I had an hour.
Yeah.
A lot of my sessions are an hour. We could talk for an hour. I've got lots of, yeah. Okay, so you're fighting, what you're fighting for right now, from my perspective, is a new story. Because the story of who you are in the context of your family never suited you. So even the context of being an outcast gives them judgment to say that you're not worthy of them, when actually, not to be disrespectful to your family, but they're not worthy of you. So all of us feel that that's so common in our situation where we're like, I mean, I actually thought aliens were going to come and pick me up because I was like, I didn't even know if I was human. And I was living with these humans that I was like, I don't think I belong here. All of us felt our own version of, I think they're my parents, but we are so different, right? So your anger is serving you because you're fighting for a clean slate for yourself, okay? So that anger is going to serve you. It's not a bad thing. One story I'd offer an edit for is that we're equally light and dark. That's a false teaching because it doesn't give your soulfulness permission to be 100% light. We happen to be dropped in by design, because all of us chose to be here, to be in a reality where there is unconsciousness. That's not a stain on your record. That's the circumstances of this reality. Don't confuse your experience with your identity.
Wow.
Okay? And by the way, your sister says she's sorry and that she's okay. I would hug. Yeah, you're good. You're so good. Your strength is your power. Don't shut it down. You need that. It kept you going all these years. It's perfect. You are such a beautiful being. I'm so glad you're here. She didn't know she was going to be here. I don't even know she knows who John and I are. No, I don't. Right? Yeah. Oh, sister, I love you so much. Just let yourself be the special you. You're not your family. Right?
Beautiful.
Here, I'll let you two have your moment there. I love my job. This is way more fun than corporate. Do you want to go ahead while he's...
You just, right? Did you feel the
Oh,
truth
wait.
of that?
They're going to get that on recording. I should.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So the question is like, you know you have it, right? She's nods her head, like, no, answer it. It's like, do you really know you have it? It's like, yes.
I've got this. When things look like they're going to hell in a handbasket, that's what I say. I've got this.
You got this.
Yeah.
You feel, no, but do you... And don't expect a certain picture of it. Allow the flow to take you where it wants to take you. And let your emotions run wild if they need to. Go through the anger, the happiness, and dare to love. Dare to have your heart broken 10 million times. Because it's not breaking, it's cracking into what it really is.
Into more love.
Absolutely.
Love for you too. Don't leave yourself out.
Yeah.
I see a very determined look on this gentleman's face in the front row.
Well, I wanted to share some things. There's been a bunch of them throughout the hour. First one, I can relate to what you're going through, because growing up, I was always different from other people, and I mean, I was always outgoing, but it was also, up until most recently, it was about feeling worthy inside yourself as well. And we all we talked about, this whole event has been about judgment. And we place, when I look at people, I'm starting to look at them as a mirror. And that's what we each are, as a mirror. When something negative comes up, you're seeing something inside of yourself that needs to be worked on. Part of the reason how I came up to this, there's some people like Byron Katie, she has the cult of work.
Do you want to answer before he was on?
Yes.
Because you're chomping at the bits. Hold on a
I am
second. I can feel
dying.
Jill just like.
I like that.
Because we want to do one of these energetic kind of awarenesses.
Yes. Let's guide this. Okay, so this is the mirror principle that he's describing, and it's very popular in personal growth and self,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No,
This
go
is
ahead.
why I love Jill. She's like the rebel. She's like the rebel. The warrior of truth, really.
Okay, we're gonna break the shit out of these mirrors. Are you ready? Woo! Okay. It's so. Can I use the F word?
Yeah,
It's so fucked up. Yeah. It's so fucked up. I'm like, oh my God, when I heard this idea of the mirrors, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I was in session, and she's like, well, everybody's a mirror for me. And I'm like, no, they're not. Oh my God, they're so not. Who told you that? And she didn't even know. And I'm like, and then I asked my team, what's this mirror thing? And Jesus is like, break the fuck out of that mirror. And I'm like, I will break the fuck out of that mirror. Okay, so here's the rational flaw. Let's talk to the brains, because our brains are important. And I know, Emily, you've got a strong brain too, right? It's like wanting to make sense of this. The reason the mirror principle is fucked up is because it gives a broken reality permission to judge who and what you are.
Say it again.
The mirror principle is broken because it's letting a broken reality decide who and what you are. We are not this reality, you guys. We're visitors. No one is born here. No souls are born here. We all are visitors on Earth. And because this reality allows for such intense unconsciousness, which is disconnection from God. Remember the coffee cafe story, we're forgetting their God. You want that to be your mirror? Oh my God, good luck, right? No, they're not your mirror. When you see an asshole, it's them being an asshole. When you see somebody bright and shiny, it's them being bright and shiny. When you're being an asshole, it's not them being an asshole, it's you being an asshole, okay? So enough with the mirrors, right? So I would like to invite everybody to just close your eyes for a minute and take any false teaching in front of you that is akin to the mirror. It didn't work. It's not moving us forward. It's like a three-legged race set of bullshit nonsense. I want you to pick up it's like your grandmother's mirror, and your grandmother's like, no, don't touch the mirror. I'm taking the mirror. Take it up, take it off the wall, take it off the floor, and just boom. And it's just tiny little fragments of beautiful light. No bad luck involved. Just you stepping forward into the power of creator ability that you are. If a teaching doesn't sound right, it doesn't make sense, or it just smells funny, then question it and don't apply it. If it helps somebody else, that's awesome. But I can guarantee there's some limitations to that teaching, and I don't like it because I love this place too much.
And I interrupted you, so.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, we look even shinier now.
I wanted to respect I wanted to respect your story.
Yeah, but I appreciate you jumping in, and it's very important, and it's good to know. And I take that on board fully. But I mean, we're all here to experience, is what someone else, and which I take on, because that's true. Because we're each here to experience, and I've been looking at each of us are like a rock that goes into a pond, and we create a ripple effect. Where we're each, so the people that you're around, when you shine, it'll eventually get around to the people that you surround yourself with. And I mean, because I've been on a wonderful journey, like, I've literally lived and traveled around the world, going intuitively, and I've been sharing my light to other people, and it's been inspiring to them. I mean, they're just amazed at how much I have done and accomplished. And right now, I'm in an unknown territory. I'm trusting in the unknown, which is freaky, because I'm like in between places in a huge transition. Made to become an American, so I can live here in LA. And I've had people tell me, oh, don't go there, don't go here because of this, because of that. And I just, you know what? I said, like you said, when it's a teacher, you know what? It's just like, just it's their opinion. And just trust that everything will be okay. I mean, when people say, like, it's how you look at it. I mean, I choose to look at things positively versus negatively. And as a result of the positive things happen in my life. When someone asked about, did you want to jump in?
Oh, I have like 5 things, but that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could go on forever,
One thing that you're actually bringing up for me into an awareness is that, and I'll digress and please excuse me for interrupting, but one of the things on the show that I see is because I host so many different teachers and there's different perspectives, and so one of the things that I don't like to see is people taking on all of these teachings as their own truth. It's like this person said this person said that, this person said, and I'm not suggesting you're doing that, but you remind me of that. My wish is that you take whatever information resonates for you and you formulate your own truth, regardless if it's popular or not. And that's what you're doing, is you're taking this accumulation of information and you're molding it into something that you're starting to trust as part of yourself. And the invitation for all of us is to fall into our own interpretation of our own truth.
Yeah.
Because that's authentic. We're looking for relationships with other people, but when we're regurgitating other people's information, there's not a landing spot. There's not, it's like there's a wall there.
It's not so full. It's wallpaper.
It's not, yeah, that's wallpaper.
I mean, the thing is, each one of us is different.
Yeah.
And it's important to honor that difference. And, I did feel like an outcast, and that was because I wasn't embracing my own difference, my own uniqueness that I had to give to the world. Now, there was a mention about the how, and how it's very intense. And when I first saw The Secret, it was great. At one point, okay, hold on.
No, I'm good. I've been wanting to hug Jill for about 30 minutes.
When I first saw it, I thought, great. But then I met Janet, I came in contact with the Passion Test, and there's a simple little formula, which is intention, attention, and no tension. And it was just so very simple that I started to embody that, and I actually embrace it because I found it resonated with me. And the intention is the what. What is it that you want to do? You focus on the what. It's what you want to do. The attention is what you're.
What's your heart telling you?
What?
Can you come up here?
Yeah.
And talk to us? Come here.
What's
No, go ahead. John asked you a question.
what's your heart telling you?
What's my heart telling
Can I
me?
touch you?
Yeah, go
I'm
ahead.
already doing
Yeah,
it.
no, don't worry about it. Why do you ask that? Because
I want to know what your heart knows. I want to know what your heart is just
Your heart.
wanting to express
Not here.
itself.
Not here. Here.
Yeah. Because you know
What do
what?
you
Those
feel?
processes and steps, I don't remember any of that crap. I can't. I have no retention
He just
for it.
called it crap.
It's crap
I
because
know.
I can't retain it.
Yeah. Your brain is really strong, and I want to do something with you, but I don't want to interrupt. Go ahead.
I mean, I'll just finish off the third part, which is the no
No,
tension.
answer my question.
No. Well, the thing is, right now,
Your heart.
my heart.
This thing.
Yeah, I know. This thing. It's not necessarily here. It's everywhere.
Whatever. I'm just right here right now.
Right now, I can't. Like, I have so much on my mind that.
No, really. Okay, ready?
I'm gonna trick your brain.
First thing that comes to your brain, you're gonna spit out, and I don't care what word it is.
God.
Word is God. That's. Ooh, hello. Okay, I'm gonna count to 3. Feel into what it is that your heart wants you to know. Don't think. First word that comes to your mind, no matter what it is. You don't have to be smart about it. It can be really stupid. I prefer that. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Love. That's what's coming to me.
Thank you. Thank you. Does love need all these processes and all these things of the mind, which are beautiful, by the way? You have a beautiful mind, and I'm not taking that away at all. But what I'm looking to do is get this to relax with this. Because what happens is there's a merging that happens. We have these different kingdoms. We have the kingdom of the mind. We have the kingdom of the heart, the kingdom of our soul, and the kingdom of our physicality. And when those kingdoms unite, you've got a powerful force that you're driving your vehicle with.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're getting at, because I have been in a dichotomy situation. I mean, and I have actually stopped to really listen to a lot of the talks that go on, because, you know, there's only, like, I've been to so many different events, and it's like,
I know.
And then at the end of the day, and it's been like, and so it's like it's time to like unwind.
Thank you.
And
that's what your heart, that's your heart's guidance.
Yes.
And it's you're allowing it to become louder in its expression. So you're getting there, and you know it already.
Yeah.
You just need to relax. Jill, you were
What's your
gonna
first
mention
name?
something.
Andrew. You have a very unique and cool energy, brother.
Yeah.
Very cool. Your mental construction is highly advanced. Highly advanced. It's more.
I can't even get into the Course in Miracles, by the way. I tried, and it was like it's too much. I even bought the book, but I'm like.
It's not that it's too much. I mean, Ayn Rand, Atlas Shrugged. I flew through that. That worked for me. Your brain is a unique wiring relative to this planet. So it is very sophisticated in knowledge and wisdom. The adjustment I would offer you is that your brain's interpretation of who you are, and you even said it when you were in the chair, is we're all here to experience. And another way of saying that, which I'm not a fan of, is we're all here to learn, because it leaves out the opportunity that we're here to share. Right? Yes, sister. Yeah.
Nice.
So sharing, creating, just like the teachers that I feel, and I'm going to be exaggerated for effect, you put on pedestals. An authentic teacher wants to see you eye to eye because you, my brother, are a natural teacher.
Yep.
So if you ever, from this moment forward, find yourself saying words that you heard from someone else, I really encourage you to stop and smile and say in your heart, but what do I think? Because what you think is awesome. Okay? You're not here to parrot back all these other teachings. And I feel like okay, I just want to, can I touch your face?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just the sweet, no, just,
Even when you touch my face.
Even when you.
All right.
Oh my God. Really. Even when you close your eyes, there's this furrow right here. This is beyond Botox. This is just relaxing this gorgeous brain of yours. That this life isn't a job. This life is an experience.
Okay. Feel the relaxation in that. Wow.
Yeah, it's right here. So, I mean, I've only known you for 90 minutes, and I've heard 5 countries that you've been to. So your story it's almost like you're not sure what makes you interesting. What makes you, this is so personal, I'm so sorry to do this in a group, but
it's okay.
What makes you, okay, thank you. What makes you personal, or what makes you interesting isn't where you've been. What's your first name again?
Andrew.
Andrew, it's who you are. You are fascinating, brother.
I liked you the second I saw you. I knew nothing about
you. I know, yes. I don't care if you've lived in Iowa City, Iowa your whole life, right? That's not what makes you interesting. You are interesting.
Yeah.
You are creative, you're very expressive, you have a unique take on things. And I feel like you give way too much credit to the teachers in this world that, oh, well, they're this or they're that, so they must know more than me. They may know something you don't know, but they don't know more than you know.
I wouldn't say I'm giving them too much credit, but they're the ones that introduced me to a modality that I took on board.
So what?
Yeah.
Would you want to take credit for that? If you created a modality and you helped 10,000 people, would you want them to be like this their whole life?
They just share it. I mean,
live it.
And live it, and just embody what they learn and take it as part of themselves. So I mean, can I say the third thing in my just so I get it out of my head? Because
Well, I was hanging on it actually.
we all worry about the how, and we really shouldn't worry about the how of how things are going to come into our lives, because otherwise we create all this tension. We just enjoy what we do and what comes to us to do it, and let the how come to us in its own natural way.
Teacher Andrew, everybody.
Yes, thank you very much.
That was a message.
That was the main part, because people were.
It's the best part.
There's the how.
You know what was cool about that sharing this time? I felt your heart more into it, not your brain. And there's a difference in how people will receive what you're sharing. So when you were up here sharing, I was like, I have to remember stuff, and oh God, I don't remember that crap, right? But when you shared just now from your heart, it's like,
We're live. Your eyes were more open. You
guys felt that, right?
There's something, the way you hold your energy in your face, watch that. So if you find yourself telling a story, just really like relax. I would even put my finger right here and just relax your eyes, because your total, she'll get it in camera, your face changed after. Piece of tape. A bindi, put a bindi there.
There you go.
Oh, bindi, okay. Well, I haven't been to India yet, but it's amazing. But it's amazing the way, I just find it amazing when you put something out that you would like happen into your life, how it comes to you in such ease. It's just a miracle. I mean, I never expected that you guys would have this event, and I happen to be in LA, and I'm like, holy moly, it's actually, I get to meet John Burgos. I mean, I'm just like, I've been connected a bit with your show for a number of years, and I'm just like, this is just divine timing.
So with my show, to finish my other point, whatever truth that I'm telling you that's my truth, take it or leave it, form your own truth. I'm full of crap also.
What does it look like when he accepts himself on the same level of others and not in this, where's the other part of it? How would he move forward? What would it look like when he can no longer put a bunch of labels on it and say, I'm at this place to share forward also?
Don't look for a physical representation, look for the feeling.
Actually, I feel like Emily knows the answer.
I
feel like it was a
her if she knew the
rhetorical
answer,
question.
actually.
Is
Yeah,
it a rhetorical
I agree.
question?
No.
No, and that's that's the first thing I got actually, and I didn't go there, but I was going to ask you, what do you know about that?
What I know about that is my fear of not knowing what these things look like. So connecting those 3 points that you made, you said, don't look to always gurus, look to your own knowing, but they're the ones who teach us how to add and subtract to use it going forward. And when you say, don't question yourself in anger or in I don't know what the question becomes then that I move forward on if I'm not. And when you say, don't look in the mirror because it's not a true reflection, I'm thinking it's a teaching tool for us to grow off of. So I don't know how to change that conversation.
Oh, we've got a lot of undos. Yeah. Got a lot of undos there, Emily. I love your brain. Emily's brain is rock star. Oh, totally is getting a brain. It's a pit bull. Mine's like a pit bull, and I needed those big old choke chain collars to put back on the leash. So I love your questions, and they're so beautiful hearted. What's underneath all of them that I see is you take humanity and your life as Emily and your loved ones very seriously, and you don't want to get it wrong. Right? I mean, how is that a bad thing, right? So your intention is just so pure-hearted and so beautiful. It's in the how you're doing it. I would really offer you it's almost like get your questions, because they're good questions. If I were you, I'd spend a couple minutes in the day. What are all my questions today?
Jill, and that would start with the foundation of what's your intention.
To not get it wrong.
What's your intention?
Yeah.
But set your foundational intention. Do you know that your intention is love? Let that calm the field down first in your awareness that whatever intention, whatever question that you don't know the answer to, you're seeking love from love. And just relax into that.
I always felt it needed to be a bigger intention, but it's enough.
No.
You don't. You think something's bigger than love?
Love brings the action and the story.
Love is God. Love is God.
Is there something bigger than love? I don't know. To me, there's not.
So with those questions, Emily, write them down and laugh at them. and tell your brain, these are a great list of questions. I probably won't get any of them answered today, maybe never. And that's okay. I know, she's in a panic.
Yeah.
Her sweet face. I know, yeah. I love it that your brain is freaking out right now, because it's your higher self just going, I may have a chance. I may have a chance to break through the brain. Yeah. Your brain needs to be like a pit bull on a leash right now. Because it's that breaking you.
And when we get into those points also, it's not about taking something away from us or releasing something or getting rid of something. It's that something that's been driving the boat, that's this little part of us, and we have this huge part of us in the background going, we're ready to steer the ship. And so it's like, okay, it's like, I get it. And you know what? I'm going to start steering the boat because I'm qualified.
And they've always been qualified.
And it's my time. And the ocean is not affected by the waves.
Mm-hmm.
But you are that big. You're the ocean. And you're letting the wave control you. You don't have to be angry at the wave. You don't have to kick the wave out. The wave's an integral part of you and who you are, and it's beautiful. And it's been functioning from love because it's wanted to serve you. So you can have gratitude for it, but it doesn't have to lead anymore. And so whenever you get into the wave of fear, or not knowing, or doubt, or anxiety, allow you, just remember, just practice remembering, little by little, that guy can go in the back of the ship and relax, and he can throw a tantrum, and he can do whatever he wants to. But you got it.
Can I?
Absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful. Emily, there is like an 8-year-old little girl, Emily, inside you, and she's terrified. She is so terrified that she's going to let somebody down because she doesn't trust other people. And that version of you feels like you remember how powerless we felt when we were 8 years old? And then we realized that other people were not being responsible with us and our loved ones. And it was like, shit, I can't feel safe with them. So this 8-year, I feel you softening. That 8-year-old you is wanting so badly to make sure that you're responsible with other people and other people's feelings. That 8-year-old you can't see how trustworthy you are, sister. You have never wished ill intent on anybody, ever. You are so trustworthy. You are so dependable, and people believe in you, but you don't believe in yourself. So that 8-year-old you is managing your brain and terrified that you're going to get something wrong. And I feel like she couldn't hear what I was saying earlier, so I'm going to say right to 8-year-old Emily. Your higher self is saying, you can't get this wrong. It's impossible to get this wrong for you. Oh, she just took a nice big sigh right there. And I feel like your facial expression, you're relaxing too. Do you feel more relaxed?
Just really trying to just absorb that.
Yeah. Don't try it. Just let it be.
It's happening.
Yeah?
It's just happening, yeah.
That 8-year-old you needs a hug, and that 8-year-old you needs adult Emily. This is the advantage. We're all adults here.
Ooh, can I give you a homework assignment?
Yes, please do.
Oh, good.
It'll be a task I can make into action.
Take your 8-year-old on a date. Ask her where she wants to go.
That's good.
Go eat ice cream, go on a swing, go in the park, watch a movie. Ask her what she wants to do. Don't overthink it. First answer that comes up, that's her replying. Don't try to make it perfect where you think it will be like this great experience. Wherever she tells you from the beginning. What does your 8-year-old want to do?
Trying to release all the shoulds for the week and the weekend.
First answer.
Just play.
That's it. That's what I was thinking too.
Play.
She wants to play.
How does she want to play? It's go buy chalk and color the sidewalk. I don't know. Play. Find something that's playful. And do it. And that, by the way, that is your priority this weekend.
Yeah. Give that 8-year-old you a hug whenever you need to, because she needs to know that adult Emily has things in control with your heart. That's what she wants more than anything, is because she didn't feel that way then for whatever reason. And now this is the blessing of being in the adult. So those little, young little boy, little girl layers of us need us to be the adult, and it encourages us to stand in our sovereignty. So be the parent for ourselves, those layers of ourselves that are fragmented and scared and holding on for dear life sometimes.
Oh, I've got to add to this because this is so in my realm. You've been doing something for her to come up in this energy, so she's ready to come in from a soul fragment perspective. She is so ripe right now to have relationship with you for whatever you've done on yourself and you're not even aware of, and she says, yes, I'm ready to trust you again. I am ready to have a relationship with you again. I am ready to bring my strengths that I took with me when I disassociated and integrate with you so that we can create a new life together. Make her a priority this weekend and let whatever unfolds, emotions and memories, happiness, sad, whatever, just be with her and be with you. And you have fun in the process. You've called it in. Congratulations. She's ready. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Nice. Oh my goodness, what time is it?
It is 12:20.
Oh God, we gotta go, guys.
Sorry. I feel like we could stay here all day.
We could. I've got to catch a
it.
flight and pack and check out and do all kinds of things. You guys are freaking amazing. Again, my heart is, to see an expression of what I feel again on the show, in this room. It's such a gift for me. And it inspires me to just want to share more also. But that's because you guys are sharing with me. I am so taking in your strength and information that you are gifting in your energy to me. And it's amplifying something in me. And I don't know how to describe it, but thank you. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So come back and let us be with you again.
That'd be wonderful. I'd love to, yeah.
Thank you so much for being here. I mean, being here on the planet. You chose to take on a human bodysuit. Thanks for showing up today. I am so excited for all of us to feel more confident in our love and to really trust that and to create from that space and to go totally nonlinear, right? into the beyond, like Buzz Lightyear, where we're redefining humanity. I see a group like this does that naturally, but helping our brains understand, well, I'm gonna scratch that word, understand, appreciate, that we're not following rules here, we're making rules. We're laying down tracks that have not been here before. So give yourself that hug when you need it. Don't judge yourself so harshly. When you get annoyed at somebody, if you're a witty, angry person like I am, be impressed with the words that flew out of your mouth in the moments of anger.
Oh my God, I have done that. Like shit comes out of my mouth. It's like, did I just really say that?
I see. I'm like, man, that was good. That was a good burn.
I was like, I cannot believe that just flew out. It's like,
good burn.
Okay, must have been necessary.
Yeah, it's good. Felt good in the moment, and then I'll own it and say I'm sorry. I was being a jerk, but it felt really good to say what I said.
You apologize?
I do.
You're so
Especially
nice.
to my kids. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do.
Oh, major.
True.
Yeah. I'm like, that was
Yeah.
me. That was not you. And now they just know when I start
Yeah.
to go off, they just laugh. Like, she's going to be apologizing in a second, but this is fun to watch. Yeah. Anyway, I love you guys so much. I love the laughter side of it too. I love to make spirituality fun and being in form, joyful and pleasant. So I love it that we all laughed a lot too.
Yeah.
That's important. So just thank you so much. I had so much fun doing this,
I
John.
did too.
I
This
am
is
so
fun.
glad we did this.
I need to ask Jill something.
Yeah.
A question.
Are you going to secretly ask me? Oh,
I have to, because that's permission. We have the special offer sessions with you. Do you want to offer that?
No, let's not.
Let's not do that?
Yeah, because they know where to reach you and I.
Okay,
yeah, so
perfect.
let's do it that way. Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I knew I needed to ask.
I mean,
Okay,
you
no,
guys know
perfect.
where to reach us. I mean,
Yeah.
John has amazing work. He is an amazing being. I love
And
the
the
work
show.
that I do, and I have a website.
Well,
He has a website.
for those,
So.
JillReneeFeeler.com.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you guys need to find Jill, and if you can't find her, reach out to me, and we'll make sure to get you guys connected. But she freaking amazing. Yeah. Well, so you guys. So again, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. It's been, again, a gift having you here. And you guys go rock it. Go have fun. Go make mistakes. Be messy. Right?
Play.
Yeah.
Play.
Yeah.
And take yourself seriously.